You're listening to KEXP. We're at 90.3 FM in Seattle. You can find us online at kexp.org. I'm Cheryl Waters, and I am so excited to have HÆLOS live in studio. A new album coming out March 18th. We're so lucky to hear some live music from them ahead of that release. And welcome. It is so wonderful to have you here.
Thanks so much for having us.
And I can't wait another moment to hear live music. It's HÆLOS in the KEXP studios.
I'm going to talk to you this evening on the subject of the spectrum of love. We know that from time to time there arise among human beings people who seem to exude love as naturally as the sun gives out heat. We would like to be like that, and by and large, man's religions are attempts to cultivate that same power in ordinary people.
Just can't hold the highs like Sunday skies and broken rhymes. Run out of love, lost our way to passing clouds and rolling waves.
They don't fall down.
It's HALOS live on KEXP. That was amazing. That is incredible. HÆLOS are live here in the KEXP studios. I am so overwhelmed. That is such a big, gorgeous sound. Thank you so much for bringing it to KEXP today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
It sounds amazing. It's so emotional. It's moody. It's cinematic. It's shimmering. You've sort of described your music in interviews as dark euphoria, and you said that a lot of your inspiration comes in those early morning hours between being in the club and going to sleep. I'm wondering where the sound came from among the band members, because you've been in other projects before. You guys have been making music for a while.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we all came together and sort of, you know, we'd had a little bit of a fallow period, all three of us, where we'd sort of gone away and done some exploring, you know, and I think we really wanted to come back with a project that sort of, it was about the music that we loved the most, you know what I mean? It wasn't about like trying to make it for anybody else or you know, just sort of, you know, trying to be something we're not or anything like that. We just wanted to come back and kind of put together all of the stuff that we'd been listening to for the, you know, the sort of 3 years in between, like, you know, the start of this project and the end of our last project. And yeah, it's kind of a nice mashup really of all the stuff that the three of us are into. You know, we'd sort of, yeah, we just put it all together and put a load of heart and soul into it, and this is how it's come out, you know, and that's it.
That heart and soul is clearly evident. And you mentioned that you really weren't listening to what other people were saying. It was coming from the three of you. And I heard that you actually hunkered down and spent a long time working on this. You released 4 songs a few months ago, but other than that, I hear you spent time. I actually laughed in an interview saying, you said, well, we're artists. You know, if we wanted to be bankers, we work bankers hours, we'd be bankers.
But it turned out we worked longer hours than bankers.
That was the thing. Dom, I was like, look, dude, we need to just, you know, get our heads down. Or whatever.
Yeah, we messed that up actually, because we should have said it, lawyers' hours, because bankers don't really work that hard.
But it was like we sort of developed a strong work ethic, and yeah, that was something that, you know, I think Dom was laughing about it and saying, you know, look, if I wanted to be a banker, you know, I would have just, you know, if I wanted to work ridiculous hours, I would have been a banker, you know, and then actually it's kind of turned out. Yeah, I think when you're really into something, you know what I mean, like you can feel the energy in it, and it just sort of drives you on, you know.
I think at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like work. It's like, you know, when you're spending like 14 hours a day doing the same thing every day, that's the only way that you become really good at something, and you've got to love it to do that. And so we feel really, really lucky to be doing something that we really love doing, because not everyone gets to do that.
So Dom and Arthur and Lottie, I've heard that you write all of the songs together, and you've actually said, as beautiful as they sound, they are a little dark, but I've heard you say that they are sort of painful and uncomfortable to write.
I think, Lottie?
I think there can be moments of that, for sure. I think you've got to sort of get through, you know, explore all the emotions, and in the room, everybody sort of throws in their experiences, and then we sort of, you know, weed through all that and get to an end point. And I think there can also, in the writing process, it can be you know, there might be moments when somebody's really attached to something and someone else in the room might not be, and so trying to find that moment where we all sort of click can also be quite hard at times. But you know, at the end, it always sort of finds the happy spot at the end.
There's such a attention to detail in each song. I mean, I can tell you've worked so long on them. And there's a lot of depth to the vocal elements in the songs. And all three of you are singing. And it's definitely not like you're just all singing at once or singing on top of each other. Is there any particular thought that went into that?
I suppose we wanted it to be quite direct. And that's easy with a single vocal when it's just like a voice connecting straight with the listener. We really wanted to try and make it feel intimate, but with unison and harmony as well. So it can be quite tricky, because the moment you add another couple of voices, it thickens out so much so quickly, and so just trying to keep it as like raw and unaffected as possible as well, and just use effects for just moments, it's kind of nods to the dance music that we really are into as well, and stuff like that. So
I think future choir was the buzzword in the studio. Like, you know, when we first kind of coined it, I think on Dust, that was the word that was getting banded around. You know, we wanted something that felt kind of, you know, ethereal and kind of churchy and stuff, but also, you know, had that like real moments of connection, and that was I thought the interesting thing about the sort of girl boy like kind of balance in our band, and you know the sort of the rough and the smooth almost, you know what I mean? I think we kind of needed that palette to sort of express what we wanted to from the songs, you know, to get the emotion across. It wasn't just an all girl thing or an all boy thing, you know. We wanted to
have the dynamic.
Yeah, just to have that sort of spectrum.
There's always two sides of a coin. It kind of links, you know, back to like the themes you write the album about and stuff. It's like everything's cyclical, and you know, it's just for every one side there's another side, and so you know there are two sexes in the planet.
Well, the effect is beautiful. I love that in general, and it's so beautifully done on this record. Full Circle is the record. It comes out March 18th on Matador. And you have a trilogy of videos for 3 of the songs on the record, and very visually arresting. Obviously, a trilogy there tied together. Was that something that was conceived as a 3-part story?
It was actually Jesse Jenkins who directed the videos. He actually listened to pretty much the whole album on repeat as he was writing the treatment. So they weren't even necessarily written for each track that they're placed to. It was sort of just to get an overall feel. And then the story sort of came out from there, and we sort of worked into it more and more. But
yeah, I think it was, we wanted to just make a kind of a short film, really, you know what I mean? And it just happened that we needed to split it up and put 3 songs. I mean, there was a kind of last minute idea to put them all 3 of them together, and then I don't know, we just like the idea of it being a kind of triptych, and I don't know, it just kind of it was meant to be just a sort of emotional accompaniment, really, you know what I mean, and something visual that really kind of again expressed the sort of the different like tensions in the music, you know, the sort of euphoria and release, and the kind of pain and the suffering or whatever, you know, and the kind of the balance between those 2 things. And yeah, really, you know, we're really pleased with the way it came out. So.
You can hear all of those things in the songs, so I can see where the inspiration came from for the filmmaker. Thank you so much for coming in. If there's any justice in the world, you guys are going to blow up and be huge, so we're very excited to have you here in our studios today. We're live here on KEXP with HÆLOS, and got a couple more songs?
Yeah, we do.
Thanks.
watch as the sky falls down, dissolve under casting cloud, spin as the world goes round. Senseless sea, caught up in polity, spend my time out early, spin as the world goes round.
Oh, so beautiful. HÄLOS live on KEXP. I know 3 of you make the music in studio, and I'm wondering how tricky it was to bring it to the live stage. There are 6 of you performing this, and lucky people got to see you in a small venue last night, but I hear you're also playing big festival shows as well.
Well, it's, no, it was just really enjoyable to kind of take the record and interpret it live, and that was the thing. That was kind of the buzzword for us there. It's like it's meant to be an interpretation, and like important for us when we play live not to have like an Apple logo flashing the audience from the stage, which so many electronic bands have. And so it just, it took a lot of practice, but also 3 ridiculously talented guys in Daniel, Martin and Bo. And they make it really easy for us because they're ridiculously good.
You've fully realized the album in studio here. It's fantastic. And did I see that you're playing Coachella?
We are, but it's just been announced.
Have you played shows that big so far? Have you been able to present it on a big stage?
A few European sort of festivals, but obviously like in terms of sort of big profile festival like that, it was our first summer last summer and we were just kind of ticking things off. But I think, this summer hopefully we'll have, Coachella, and I think, we've got a few more sort of, waiting to announce, but we'll see.
Well, it must be fun to still be going with those small rooms and those big stages. You have a sound definitely that can go out to a big crowd like that. And I am so excited for you. I wish you great luck and good fortune, and so happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
We're in studio. It's HÆLOS live on KEXP Seattle. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.